We understand that the Sungai Besi land, the one that's supposed to build Bandar Malaysia, has been sold to 1MDB. The agreement was signed in June. It was announced, but the figure was not announced. It has been sold at a price of 1.6 billion ringgit. Okay, for 495 acres. For 495 acres. Now this works out to only 74 ringgit 20 cents per square feet. And that is a ridiculously cheap price for prime land in Kuala Lumpur. Why does 1MDB have this privilege to secure this prime piece of land for only 74 ringgit 20 cents per square feet? Penang, we preach competency, accountability, transparency, CAT. And as a result, all state property, including state land, is tendered on an open and competitive fashion. A piece of land, 101 acres, was sold recently via open tender for the amount of 1.07 billion or 240 ringgit per square feet. Okay, more than 3 times the price in Sungai Besi. And we all know that land in Kuala Lumpur is more expensive than land in Penang. Okay, you can get easily in excess of 1,000 ringgit per square feet in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, whereas in Penang, the highest you can get, and that's through open tender, is 240 ringgit per square feet. That's record price in Penang. Okay, so what we can see here is the government is subsidizing 1MDB by at least 3.6 billion. Okay, this is a major misallocation of resource because one, the revenue derived if the government had sold this piece of land by open tender it could have been used for development as well as welfare program for the rakyat. Okay, so there's lost revenue. And number two, even if 1MDB makes a profit from this piece of land, the profit is false because they got the land so cheap. Of course, if you get the land so cheap, you sell 20% more, also you make a lot of money already. But in this case, it's ridiculously cheap, not market price, so they got distortionary prices for their piece of land. So we call upon the government to disclose in full the terms of the agreement on the land sale to 1MDB, not just for Sungai Besi Airport, but also for Jalan Cochrane, and explain why 1MDB has been given such unfair preferential treatment, which will in turn crowd out private investment. When you subsidize all your government companies, all your private companies cannot compete, they all go overseas because there's no opportunities for them in Malaysia. Is this Najib's private sector driven economy, or is it going to be the government knows all, same like before, no change? KLIA2, the new low-cost airport, okay? The cost has ballooned to more than 4 billion ringgit. It is speculated the cost has ballooned to more than 4 billion ringgit, or more than double the original anticipated cost of less than 2 billion ringgit. This is the first time we are hearing it in the mainstream media. We demand that the Minister of Transport, Datuk Sri Kong Chong Ha, give a full report as to why the cost has doubled. And the Ministry of Transport under the MCA leadership has always been one of the worst offenders in terms of cost overrun. We remember PKFZ, 1 billion becomes 12 billion today. We remember the double tracking railway between Rawang and Ipoh, which went up by more than 1 billion ringgit as well. We remember the purchase of the useless units of train, EMUs, in KTMB by the Ministry of Transport. So in this case, we are now seeing MAB, the cost of constructing KLIA2 has doubled. Okay, the impact is twofold. Number one, ultimately it will be higher costs for air passengers, domestic and international, and this will affect tourism. Okay, or the government says that no, airport tax will not go up. Then this will mean the government will have to subsidize MAB more because the cost of construction is so high. The airport cannot recoup its investment from airport tax. Okay, either way, the taxpayer loses. We remember in 2009, Sime Darby and AirAsia wanted to build an airport in Labu, Negeri Sembilan, at the cost of 1.6 billion. Now there was massive protest over that project, okay, and MAB promised that they can build the same in the same time, okay, for less than 2 billion. That's one of the reasons why Labu was cancelled, because MAB can do the same. But now we can see that clearly Okay, in MAB's case, the government have to pay 4 billion, whereas if the Sime Darby has built their airport, it would not have cost the government a single cent. Okay, and in this case also, the project has been delayed from June this year, supposed to be ready, has been delayed to April next year. That's on the assumption that there's no further delays to the airport project. Okay, so the Minister of Transport must provide full clarification and justification as to why he has failed to manage and control the cost of the new airport. He must also explain why the project has been delayed to April 2012, as announced by MAB Managing Director Tan Sri Bashir Ahmad in August this year, and whether there will be any further delays to the project. If Datuk Sri Kong Chong Ha does not respond in Parliament in a transparent and accountable fashion, I will formally request the PAC, Public Accounts Committee, and the Auditor General's team to investigate the project to find out the real reasons for the massive increase of the 4 billion KLIA2 scandal.